Waka?
Yeah, my Hapu Upoko.
You might as well carry on with it now and
Yeah.
turn it on. Yeah, so we're rolling now, and today is Monday.
Kia ora te whānau.
Kia ora.
Today is Monday the 12th of December 2016. We're here with Toopi, Jim Wikotu, and myself, John Wano, from down the East Coast, East Cape, on the land blocks down here from Opotiki, and the Mataatua Waka. So we're just going to run a clip, and we'll let Jim fire off first with some of the issues we've been going through, and then I'll follow up behind that after him. So Jim, over to you.
Kia ora tātou. Ko pukenui ora ho te maunga, ue o tahi te awa, ko te kahika te Marae, ko rongo popoia te tipuna. Ko Toby kokere Wikotu, taku ingoa, i rangatira hau no te Upoko rehe. No reira, no te Upoko rehe hau, ko taku Waka ko Mataatua, ko taku Hapu ko te Upoko rehe. Pai ko nea hau i tēnei rā ki te kōrero mo te Whakameninga o ngā rangatira, o ngā Hapu o New Zealand, te Whakameninga. Ko hau te tehi o ngā kaipaka haere, o tēnei hikoi a tātou, mai rāno. Kai ko nea hau kai te kōrero i Wainganui i ngā rangatira, anei ko John Wanoa tēnei, no Ngāti Porau, ko Naunga Māua, no te waka horoita ia, no te waka Mataatua hau, engari ngā herenga ki Wainganui a Māua, kuina, pakapaka. Ko taku pāpā, ko Toopi kokere Wikotu, ko tana pāpā ko Wiakeake, nānei haina te tiriti o Waitangi, mō mātou ana i te rohe o Opotiki. Ko ia te rangatira i haina te tiriti mō mātou, no nai te rangi ia, ko taku paia, taku pāpā, Toopi kokere Wikotu, ko taku i rā, tama a Wiakeake, ka moe a Wikotu, ia e rana tuhiriri ka puta ko kokere. Ka moe a kokere ia tira haere kōria no Ngāti Porau, no te hapu o Takimoana, o ina Waiapu. Te nohanga o Poraurangi, te nohanga o Huturangi, me Paikea. Ka nei mātou, a hau te heo ngā uri o Takimoana engari, kai te rohe o Mataatua hau e nohoana, kai Opotiki mai tāpeti. Te nohanga o Tarawā mā, na ariki i hara mai, i runga i ngā waka o Nehera. Ko te heo ngā ku tipuna, ko hape ki Tuarangi, i hara mai, ka tāu mai ki Ohiwa, i runga o te waka te Mātotori. Engari, te heo waku tipuna, a Raumoa, i hara mai i Tāheke, ka moe i Wainganui a mātou, ka tipu o nā uri ana te whānau a Kaironga. Ka hara mai a Kahununu, ka noho i te rohe o te Upoko rehe i roto i te awa o Waiotahe, o te ingoa o tana Marae, ko Waiotahe. Ko te ingoa o te whare, kai reira e tuana, ko te poho o Kahununu, kui nei te tāpene kara, o te kauwairunga, o te kauwairau i mua i mana turaki hia te whare nei, ka mau hia mai e tamatea ki roto i te awa o Waiota he whakatū ai ana inua i te ātea o Maromahu. Mai i tēnei koraua, a ka hununu, ka puta, mai a laua ko tana wahine mutunga, wananui a mātou ko paupare kura. Ka puta ko hine manuhiri. Nā hine manuhiri ko tamaterangi. Ka moea tamaterangi a ani i waho. Ko tamahine a tairongo. Ka nohora aua te rohe. O te rohe moana ohiwa o rawa marae ko kutarete. A muni o tērā ka whanau mai a lomu popoia. Ka moe ia rangi paroro. Ka puta mai ia raua ko kahuki. Ngani te wā e hapu ana a rangi paroro. Ka hara mai a tua mutu. Te tamaiti a muriwai. Ka patua. A longu pupoia raua kua na whānau i ka rehi pōtai. Mai tērā wā ki te wā ka pakake mai te tangata nei a kahoki. Koe nei tana kaupapa, te pakautu mo te matenga o tanga pāpā o longu pupoia. Ka pakake mai te tamaiti nei. I roto i te rohe o tūhoe, nā hae ora raua ko rangi paroro i paka tipu tēnei tama i roto i te rohe o tūhoe. Ana i reira, ka whānau mai wana tuahine. A mahanga, raua ko rangi ata ura, raua ko rangi ata mea. Ka pakeke nā ko tiro nei ka hara mai tēnei tama ki te heru mai wana tuahine ki te tiro i tana marae ātea ana i te kahikate. Ana i te huarahi i koe mai nei rātau. Tā mai ki te hipinua ko tahuna te ingoa. Ka haere nā ko tiro nei ki te horo ki te whakapaipai. Ana ki te haere a kahuki ki te kimi kai mā wana tuahine. Te hokinga mai ka po mauke i a tua mutu. Ana ka kainga e tua mutu wana tuahine i reira. I reira, ka putatana kōrero tō Upoko haikai mā. Tērā wā ka hoki te tama nei ki tūhoe. Ki reira, ki te pātai, ki a tūhoe, ki a hara mai, ki te api iaia, ki te whakautu mo tana pāpā. Ka whakai a haeora, ka mahia mai he Waka. E nā taitama toa, ka hara mai te taha iaia, ki te haere, ki te whakautu, ki te patunga o tana pāpā o rungu pupoia. Ka heina tuti nei Waka. Mai te koko o hiwa, ki whakaari, ka huri, ki te rāpiti, ka whakahuri hea te Waka ki te taha. Kia rite ai, kia kitea mai ai te tangata, he Waka tere. I te atatonu, te pitinga mai o te rā, ka kitea mai e rātau, te Waka nei e tere haera nei runga te moana. Ka puta te kara, he waka tere, he waka ātāhua. Ka puta mai rā, te tuamutu nei ki te tiki i te wakatere nei. Te taenga mai ki te waka nā hoia o Waitangi. Ka patua rātou i reira. Ka hiria e kahuki te upoko te tinana o tuamutu ka tahuna ka kainga i runga o te tana pāku watawata o te one te ingoa. Muri o tērā ka whakahokia mai tana upoko ki tana pāku watawata e tuana i te rohe, i roto i te rohe o te upoko rehe. I reira, kui rā te ingoa o te Marae nei ko te ungo horo. I reira kainga te upoko o tuamutu. Te whakamutu i te mamae i te atunga o tana pāpā. We need to whakapapa o tako tipuna o rungo pokoe. Ai konei ahau ki te api i taku panaunga nei, i te heri, i te tenei take, i te take o ngā kōti o te ao, i Ingarangi, ke whakatika hia, nā āhuatanga o mātou e noho nei, i noho tō mātou whenua. Nā rātau nei i tā hae. Nā rauemi, nā whenua takumana, nā rātau i taune. I runga i tā rātau pepa. Kui nei ahau i tau mai nei, o hau te tangata o te kara. Ko te kara nei, nā Kingi Wiremu i o mai mō tātau. Hei kaitia ki a tātau, i tēnei rohe o tātau. Me te kōrero anō, i runga i tēnei haki, nā o tātau tīpuna, i whakatū ai haki mō tātau, hei kara mō tātau. Nā Wiremu i tautoko, te haki nei, hei haki mō tātau. Ka whakatūhia te haki nei, i Waitangi. Ka haere te kaupuke, ki te tairāwhiti, i reira whakapahua i tana reo. Te reo o Wiremu, te kaipuke o te ao. Koinei tana kōrero. Ka waihara mai ki te whakararu i tēnei iwi Maori e noho nei i runga i tēnei whenua. Ki te hara mai koutou ki te whakararu i a rātau, ka patua koe koutou e ahau. Koinei nā kōrero a te rangatira nei a Kingi Wiremu ki a tātou o tātou rangatira. Koinei nā kōrero i waiho mai e oku rangatira ki a hau. Anei koinei nā kōrero e waiho ne e hau i waku whakatipuranga e whakarongo mai nei koutou. Kia mohi ai tātou katoa i te āhuatanga o tō tātou kara. Koinei tēnei kara, ka ingoa i tēnei kara, nā āhuatanga katoa o ngā rauemi, o tātou whenua, o tātou mana motuhake, o tātou mana tangata, kai roto i te haki nei. Nō reira, ko tātou, nā mea kuare, ka rei te mōhio, te kaupapa o tō tātou kara. Me nā āhuatanga katoa, ka tau mai, ki runga i tēnei kara o tātou. Nō reira, e takuraki, koinei aku
Kia ora. Thank you, Toopi. So that gives you an idea of a whakapapa as a title holder in the British court system of law, martial law. Martial law sets the precedent of writs of execution title to seize land in the name of the King of England, and with indigenous countries. This is a blueprint of a native Pacific island whakapapa or genealogy, man of the land, title in the native sense of the word between Britain and us, the chief's legacy. So we're recording this for the record in New Zealand, in the Waitangi Marae King's Bench Native Court, and also in Westminster Parliament, and also the High Court of Admiralty in London, Rolls Building, Fitter Lane. Now I've got a few points here of what we are basically achieving as rangatira and kaumatua, taumata, commercial landowners. We don't usually, or don't as a rule, as Pacific Island native, call ourselves owners of land. But in this case, because the British came here, stamped their authority on our lands with their titles to ownership of land, is the means of commerce that we have to enter into these days and identify ourselves as part of what our tupunas, or our ancestors, set out to do, is to trade in the world between America, South America, Australia, and countries that our flag, the Whakaputanga flag, 1834 and 1835, part of the flag, had two meanings to it. The meaning we're taking at this stage with Jim and Kingi Taurua, Chief, is to follow the King's line of inheritance to his commerce or his prized possessions, as the term used in banking and mortgage lend instruments, to claim something that didn't belong to anybody else. And we have our own spirit law, and our memorial for that is the Moai statue on East Island, that Jim and I are on a piece of land at East Cape, Te Pito, which is the birth of Aotea, New Zealand, for our purposes of documentation and authentication, authentic documents to make our claim as beneficiaries of the Queen Victoria Trust, which is a highlight right now since King Ferdinand Marcos died last month, and his abdicating to King Felipe IV, King of Spain, as being holding onto our inheritance under our flag of King William IV, the 1834 and 1835 Whakaputanga flag, and two parts to the Whakameninga, 1835, under the Queen's Bench Court, or Queen's Monarch Sovereign Authority, New South Wales Government, in Titi Marae, is that part of the flag that they're flying, have the right to fly, to identify themselves to the world and Britain, who we are, in that commercial sense, outside of our native indigenous title, that we don't own land. In this case, in commercial British terms, we do own land commercially as the landowner for the purposes of our documentation. And so, from Te Tii Marae to Waitangi Marae, Kingi Taurua and Toopi, Jim Wikotu, takes the line of chief for this inheritance to King William, our partner in commerce, and the flag to stake our claim as to that Queen Victoria Trust and the Akaroa Bank set up by the tūpunas, these tūpunas, and our indigenous surnames, that we stand here to identify ourselves before going to Westminster. And we go into the Waitangi Marae King's Bench Native Court on the 6th of February 2017 to make those claims on the record in that marae in front of the Government of New Zealand, New South Wales. Queen's sovereign authority, of Parliament authority. We have our own sovereignty of Jim's just given his whakapapa as our sovereignty. We were here and they came. We're going there to visit them, to tell them who we are for the first time as the chiefs of this country and the Pacific Islands, who we represent. His whakapapa, my whakapapa, is myself, John Wanoa, to Uetaha, Chief Uetaha of the Opotiki o Te Waipu boundary area that Jim and I are familiar with, and will put that together and challenge the Te Tumutumu Paeroa, which is the old Maori trustees that are calling themselves landowners, commercial landowners, that we're matching with our commercial landowner title here that we explain in the person, in the real person, for the very first time inside Waitangi Marae King's Bench Native Court. He's one of the judges or native assessors to say anything to the land, and that is the part that John Key and his government cannot do, because they're immigrants here on occupation leases only, and we're about to terminate the lease or renew it for another 182 years if the King's Bench Court and the native jury of native chiefs with the right surnames, I must say, not to offend anybody, but it must stack up with the Westminster government's documents, will have those titles on it. So we have that in place to go to England with that claim. I just want to run through these points on this video as a statement of claim in some of the issues that we'll be talking about in the future or online. First one is whakapapa that Jim has gone through. Native title, he's gone and covered that, and the Whakameninga in a native chief's sense of the word, straight into Westminster Parliament and not through New South Wales government and John Key's government in Wellington. They have problems on a debtor's side, we are the creditors, and to audit accounts and to settle the account in Waitangi Marae on the 6th of February 2017, settle the accounts and call an audit and replace the Queen as the head of state of our trust, we're the beneficiaries, and replace Prince Andrew and the King and Queen of Spain as the other trustees. That's 4 trustees. All the trustees in the world, and in particular in our own country, New Zealand, are using trustees as the legal owners of land. Is why we don't get anywhere, because the Maori iwi trustees and the trustees themselves of the government, corporations, companies are saying they own the land, when we've just made statements now with Jim and Kingy that we are saying that the King, my proclamation, is the chiefs own the land and not the King or the Queen in today's world on the new lease. So these are the other points to make certain. We go to Mataatua Waka, he's covered the Waka there, and the Ngāpui's Waka, Matawhora, that one. Matawhora, that one, I don't know, just trying to think of the rest of the name, but that's that one. And Makatu to East Cape title, Jim's covered. Then from there to Waitangi, on the Waka side to match the British Navy ship. The Navy captain is responsible to the British King to say that the land belongs to the King. That's the titles we're going under in the Whakameninga, to challenge the King's titles there with those captains of the ship in the Waitangi Marae. 8, the Waka chiefs, the captains, Kororareka, Jim's covering that with the flag bearer, being the flag bearer of that whakapapa history, and the Navy there. He's covered that with putting the flag upside down on Kororareka on the day we were up there, 10th of April 2016, and now the flag is going up the right way as being authority, sovereignty of our own to the King of England. Ernest Augustus is our current British King, King of Britain, UK, Hanover, and Aotea New Zealand and Pacific Islands. Current now, he is the current King. We swear our oath to him and to our Moai statue on East Island and Te Pito, and also to our chiefs, our tūpanas, who got that flag given to them and used for this reason, for commerce. Okay, so that's what we're... British Navy, 10th, these are some of the points. I won't talk about them, I'll just name the points why we are making claim to inheritance of the Whakameninga title to Britain that is not claimed yet. They have not claimed as beneficiaries. We're still beneficiaries in our own country under that Queen Victoria Trust and the Akaroa Bank. 11, the Captain James Clendon, HM Fortitude, and Captain George, what's that fellow's name, Jim? George on the Alligator. The Alligator. So, Lambert. George Lambert is responsible for the 21 gun salute on his ship, the Alligator, on that date, the 10th of March 1834, and on the 20th of March 1834, when New Zealand was made a government there in Kororareka under that flag, the 1834 flag, before it was gazetted. The British captain said that's the flag of New Zealand at that date. The 10th, the 20th of March 1834, that's the title we're going under, and identifying ourselves as a British Whakameninga connection of contract, private contract Admiralty, and jurisdiction to writ of execution over the lands to seize back into the ownership of the chief's Whakameninga. Okay, so the writ of execution is what King Ferdinand Marcos declared and forced in the Philippines to seize all the gold from the government and took the power out of the government. That's what happened here in New Zealand too, when the British seized the titles here under martial law. This is what I'm talking about, the writ of execution we're using in the Waitangi Marae, King's Bench Native Court on the 6th of February 2017 to seize the land back under the same martial law. Okay, financial martial law under King William IV is the jurisdiction that Jim with the flag can do with King Itotua and his jury of native assessors and judges, and be the sheriff. I'm the sheriff to speak for King William IV and for King Ernest Augustus. We are petitioning King Ernest Augustus V into Westminster Parliament to replace Queen Elizabeth II as head trustee. I'm going in there as head trustee of the Queen Victoria Trust and put it into King Ernest Augustus, the reigning monarch of Britain, UK, Hanover, right now. He is the legitimate King of Britain, UK, not England. The King can't be a King of England with commerce, and Prince William cannot be the King of England to replace the Queen of England, because she's gone into the EU Parliament now as a conflict of interest, and that's why she can't be a Queen of England, because everything is either EU Parliament, sovereignty, authority, or Britain, UK sovereignty. That's why they're having a little battle with Brexit. We're with Brexit to make the Britain go back together under our flag, to keep our flag and them in contract as it was on the 20th of March 1834. So there, that wraps up. For all the Pacific people watching this video, you are waiting for us. They were waiting for Maori. You'll be waiting forever and ever a day for Maori, because it was invented by Pākehā in 1945, the war period. When they went to war, the Boer War, used that flag as their sovereignty authority, and that is why Maori was Maori Land Courts, Maori Tribunal, Maori everything belongs to John Key and the New Zealand government, New South Wales authority and jurisdiction of Vice Admiral. So we're using straight Admiral to the King of England and the King of Britain, UK, King William IV, as being above the Vice Admiral law right through the world, and America as well. Okay, so America is subjected to our flag when we all go into the Marae, Waitangi Marae, and stand there. And I shall issue a writ of execution order, the same as the captain did, or the captain or president has the authority to issue a writ of execution to seize property and take it from the government's power away from it, and put it under martial law of a King of England. Not the Queen, a King of England. Okay? So King of Britain. So we go to the 12, the 11, Captain James Clendon, 12, Captain George, what was it? I forget now. Lambert, George Lambert. So these are facts. These are facts. We're making these statements live to the world, watching who we are and whose gold it is that's sitting in Philippines, they're still waiting for someone to claim it, and they're using it for money and all the rest of it, and so that's our business. So we got Captain George Lambert and the Alligator 21 gun salute to make certain in history that we were locked in a private contract with the King of England. 13, Tingaiti, Matoli Bay, that's where the flag was chosen, and as the flag of New Zealand, under the Hoatakawa tree, and they very well know that with the Whakameninga having their meeting tomorrow about that, but we're putting the original story together from there. That is the legacy, that is the Navy, all Navy ships that declare or proclaim the land belongs to the King is using that blueprint of those two chiefs, Hongi Hika and Te Rawaikato Wharahere Manawhenua, to stamp their British titles all over the world. Now those come under this Queen Victoria Trust as well. So we get to 15, we're getting through it. British Navy use in indigenous countries use that title, and that's where the accumulation of the Queen's revenue and the Queen's bench court based their authority in Wellington, New Zealand and Britain and all the rest of the Commonwealth countries. The 10th of March, Te Kaya News and Jim here questioned the Navy. They didn't turn up on the 10th to put the flag up, and so Te Kaya interviewed Jim and asked the Navy what is the significance of the days 10th of March 1834 and the 20th of March 1834. The Navy failed to respond, they failed to perform, and they failed to perform on the 28th of October 2016 by coming to Waitangi with us, the chiefs of the Confederation of Tribes. So they have a problem with the Navy here not inviting the British Navy to their 75-year celebrations of Navy here, and that put up another conflict on the Queen's commerce that's in question here, of the presence of China spy ship and USS Samson, military Navy ship being here to stake their claim outside of our interest, which is now a conflict on our Whakameninga, original martial law over their vice martial law. So that's what I'm going to make clear, the distinction of us in this whole commercial world, that we're not only just up the road here in New Zealand or up in Waitangi, we're all over the world with that flag. 7 points of the Waka star. The top star point is Queen Victoria Trust. The other 7 points of the star is the 7 Wakas of the Pacific Islands, titled to the Queen Victoria Trust and the Akaroa Bank. That's what our documents are, authenticated by the chiefs, live chiefs today, live chief, live king, live flag, live contract, way back, 182 years old, still going. Unbroken sovereignty of our own, and unbroken sovereignty of King William IV, and continued with King Ernest Augustus V and his son, 38-year-old Ernest Augustus, Ernest Augustus, up and coming king. Okay, so he's the king in waiting. I can't think of his name, but number 18, black lines in the flag represents the military navy protectorate right through the world, free passage through the world. The black lines keeps out the Queen's fraudulent business, what you see of Hillary Clinton and Obama and ISIS and Saudi Arabia and all those countries using our Admiralty law for their business. 19, trade commercial contract private is private. The flag we have is a private contract and receipted as legitimate. 20, King William IV Admiralty Court Martial Law. 21, Trustees Head Queen Elizabeth II. Prince Andrew, Trustee New York Exchange. He looked after the New York Stock Exchange. King William IV put together before he became king. He spent 50 years in the Navy setting up the stock exchange in New York. That's where all that set up, that Prince Andrew, our trustee, took over and as ambassador of Britain, UK, government, Westminster, on our behalf. Okay, so I'm talking in the commercial terms of who we are, as they were there, we were the beneficiaries of all that they did for us. And now we're past the beneficiary stage. We are now the principal chiefs and CEO chiefs of our own business from now on. 22, King and Queen of Spain trustees abdicate to their son, King Philippe of Spain, and he's a Filipino where the gold is in Philippines. I'm just saying this online, on Facebook, that King Philippe is not a trustee of our trust, and he's holding the gold that he has no right to, and they are waiting to cut it up into money, gold money, to replace the US dollar, and that's our business. We're claiming that to go to Waitangi, from Waitangi Marae, King's Bench Court, to Whakameninga, and myself, the sheriff, and the jury, grand jury. We had the court hearing on the 15th of April this year, 2016, in the Waitangi Marae, unbeknown to the trustees there, that we were setting that up to open this business up, and it's legal. The flag is legal, the coins, gold coins are legal, the pound note is legal, what you see of the Moai pound note is now legal, and the acts of King William IV, 1830 to 1837 is legal. We use those acts, and in particular the martial law, financial martial law, court martial laws, all those laws we impress on people who tamper with our business between here and Westminster government. Okay, took all the gold to Philippines from New York, the 9/11. I'm making this statement, that gold went to Philippines, 200,000 metric tons of gold from New York, where King William IV set up that stock exchange, and Prince Andrew looked after and corrupted it as well, and he was sacked by the Queen over that lot. So, King's prized possessions, President Marcos declared, this is what happened, I've just put a video on, of King Marcos of Spain proclaimed or declared a state of emergency and seized the government and all the gold and put it into his own trust, and that's what we're challenging there. Okay, so that between that and the Vatican's holding 200,000 metric tons of gold that belongs to Queen Victoria Trust, and the state of emergency was used there as well, and Switzerland has got the other 200,000 metric tons of gold. Those were all acquired through King William IV's court-martial law. Martial law is the only way you can ship gold around the world, and that's our authority with our captain of our ship, King Itoto, and Toopi, Wikotu, two chiefs and myself, the sheriff, to make the orders, to make the writ of execution, to seize all the property back into all the indigenous countries of the world with the same jurisdiction of Admiralty. Queen Elizabeth, Queen Victoria, New South Wales Authority, that was number 27, the 1835 Declaration of Independence, Confederation and Incorporations, and iwi Maori are under the 1835 Declaration of Independence that they used, the government here used that New South Wales gazetted flag, part of the flag, later, a year later, they used that to make their 1840 Treaty of Waitangi authority to sell lands with martial law. Okay, so that comes under the Titi Marae, and there's Whakameninga that having their meeting tomorrow. King's Bench Court is the only native authority of chiefs inside the Waitangi Marae. That's the difference between those two maraes in the Whakameninga part of the flag. 31 were just about there. Moai Native Land Commissioner, inside the Waitangi Marae, King's Bench Native Court, that's myself, is a Moai Native Land Commissioner. I do what Jim says and what King says as a land commissioner, to write it out, write the writs and execute it through the court, and him, the judge, and native assessor. Okay, so I do my job in the court. The marae is the court. All maraes are courts, and extended into all the district courts in New Zealand and Pacific Islands and the world for that matter. The district courts will have the authority from the 6th of February 2017 to extend that authority of jurisdiction of martial law through all the district courts in the country when then judges are not using it. We have that right, that inherent right to administer our business, commercial business, as commercial landowners for the very first time. We have used our flag already for that reason. Commercial contracts, private contracts is Admiralty. 32 is the last one, Trust, Queen Victoria Trust, King's William IV Trust. The Moai Crown King William IV Trust is the Whakameninga. Leads the native indigenous countries under martial law, Admiralty jurisdiction, to seize all their lands back into their possession. Identity, Tahiti, Rarotonga, Aotea, England, King William IV, King Ernest Augustus, the Whakameninga chiefs, opened this court for the fund for humanity of the world. And that's all I have to say about that. So here in this lineup of things we had to say today, I'll just say, oh, there's some more pages. Hang on. Uhui at Waitangi, Kororareka transferred to Waitangi. Mataatua, Waka. Mataatua is the other Waka. What's the full name, Jen? Matoku Matawhaura. Matoki Matawhaura is the other waka from Waitangi, and his Mataatua waka are the native ships of the sea, and King William, King of the Sea, law will apply to these inheritance that we claim. Now, I don't have to go through the rest because I've already said that, and that's it. Komotu. Thank you very much, people. That's from me, John Wanoa and Jim Wikotu. And
Kia ora tātou.
DHarp,
Ko DHarp.
DHarp Waka is going to be with us to record, for the record, and promote the Moai from the Pacific Islands that's standing in London, Brussels, France, Washington DC, New York, Dunedin, Auckland, as our Manawhenua native title. Thank you very much. Kia ora.
Let's go, it's cold.